Trustees, Public Library District, for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025 at 7:00 p.m. And then I'm gonna do a roll call. So trustee DeRocher. Here. Trustee Pika.
Present.
Trustee Warren.
Present.
Trustee Schmidt. Here. And then also attending would be Erica Fishka. And trustee Stahl is here as well. And then also attending is Executive Director Jason Stillman. Assistant to the Executive Director is Jackie Davis. And then we have all the department heads. Mary Kelly Marquez, Paul Goldstein, Lori Retz, Ian Duncan, or no, Duncan. Okay, so we don't need to approve remote attendance. And so then moving on to item 3, if I may have a motion.
So moved.
What is the motion? So that was moved by trustee Warren, seconded by.
To remove
Move to what?
Move to what, trustee Warren?
That's what I asked. Approval of the agenda.
Move.
Yeah, he has to say.
I know, I'm,
Yeah, but
he was asking, just to approve the agenda.
Oh, to approve the agenda.
Second.
okay, so that motion was made by trustee Warren and seconded by trustee Pika. And so is there any discussion, anything that needs to be removed, added? So if nothing needs to be discussed, then I would ask for a voice vote at this time. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Then next we move on to the appointment of Erica Pitchka as library trustee. So first I need a motion to approve the ordinance. Okay, so motion was made by trustee Warren. Second. Second is made by trustee DeRocher. So this will be a roll call vote. So trustee Schmidt. Aye. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye. So then the ordinance is approved. So next we would I'd like to ask the secretary to administer the oath of office.
Can you stand up? Kathy, where would you like us?
Right there.
Right here?
Right,
Okay, we're not moving. Okay, so I'll give it to you in portions, and you just repeat after me. You right hand, please. Thank you. I, Erica Fisher. I, Erica Fisher. Having been duly appointed to the office of trustee. Having duly appointed to the office of trustee. To the office of trustee. Of the Warrenville Library District. Of the Warrenville Library District. County of DuPage, State of Illinois. County of DuPage, State of Illinois. Do solemnly swear and affirm. Do solemnly swear and affirm. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Illinois. And the Constitution of the State of Illinois. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties. And then I will faithfully discharge the duties. Of the office of trustee. Of the office of trustee. To the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. Thank you very much.
So you do have your
Welcome.
well into as a trustee now that you're seated, and it's just trustee nomination arrived at 7:03. So then, do we have any presentations?
Not tonight, Nick.
Okay. Any public comment? Okay, and then we do have a correspondence.
Oh, it was just a, big letter from the food pantry again. They sent us a couple now, but we keep collecting a lot of things to give them and they appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, so then I would like to ask the secretary to read the consent agenda.
Okay, here we go.
It's a big one.
The consent agenda, approve minutes of the May 19th, 2025 special board meeting. Approve minutes of the May 19th, 2025 special board meeting closed session. Approve minutes of the May 21, 2025 special board meeting. Approve minutes of the May 21, 2025 special board meeting closed session. Approve minutes of the May 21, 2025 regular board meeting. Approve minutes of the May 21, 2025 regular board meeting closed session. Receive and file financial report for May 2025. Approve updated banking services resolution from Fifth Third Bank to update the commercial master signature card, removing Jill Richardson and adding Erica Pishka. I'm so sorry. As authorized signers for the Warrenville Public Library District. Authorized preparation of tentative budget and appropriation ordinance.
I move that we accept the agenda, consent agenda as read by the Secretary Schmidt.
I second.
Okay, the motion was made to approve the agenda by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee DeRosa. And so then I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pitchka.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Liz Pika
Aye.
and trustee DeRosa.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye, the motion carries. And the consent agenda is approved. So then we are on to the regular agenda, so I would need a motion.
I move that we pay invoices in the amount of $65,181.98 for the period of May 22nd, 2025 through June 18th, 2025, including electronic payments and checks 10558 through 10603. Check number 10578. Check number 10578 and 10587 are voided.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Lazan. So again, I will ask for a roll call vote. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pitchka.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee DeRosa.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye. So hearing no nays, and motion carries and the payments are approved. So then the next one is the transfer of funds. I may have a motion.
I move that we transfer $200,000 from commercial checking account to our operating checking account.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by trustee Pika and I heard trustee Lazan first as the second. So then a roll call vote, trustee DeRosa.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pitchka.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye, so motion carries. So now we're on to the unfinished business, which is on page 34 of the meeting packet. So then we do need a motion.
I move to approve the 2025 to 2030 strategic plan as presented in your packet.
Second,
I'll second that.
okay, trustee Schmidt is the second, and so now any discussion?
We didn't have any changes from last time, right?
I didn't.
We didn't, as far as I could tell last month, you all
All
seemed
right.
happy with it, so I've been.
Very happy. You guys did great work.
That was a lot of work.
So then I will do a roll call vote. So trustee DeRosa,
Aye.
trustee Pika,
Aye.
trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Pishka,
There you go.
trustee Schmidt,
Aye.
and trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye as well, so the strategic plan is approved for 2025 through 2030. Okay, so then we are going to, item B, which is approving the updated policy number 455, prohibiting harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. So if I can have a motion.
I move to approve the updated policy number 455 prohibiting harassment, discrimination, and retaliation as presented.
Second.
Okay, so the motion was made by trustee DeRocher and seconded by, trustee Pico. So any discussion? Okay, so then hearing no discussion, then I'm gonna do a roll call vote. So trustee Design. Aye. Trustee Schmidt. Aye. Trustee Fishka. Aye. Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pico.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye, so the policy is approved. So then I need a motion for the policy number 370, which is on page 43. So if I could have a motion.
I move that we approve the updated policy number 370, meeting room as presented.
A second.
Okay, so trustee, the motion was made by trustee Mazan and presented by, and seconded by trustee Warren. So any discussion? Yes, so I had under section 6, item D. I felt that the language was a little bit ambiguous where it said reservation must be made by an adult 18 years or older. And then it, while it referred that the other individuals, it didn't say the other individuals needed to be 18 or older. So I felt something should be where anybody that's making the reservation or is a designated, a designee should be 18.
I don't understand. I'm confused as well.
So I think it's implied, but so the person making the reservation has to be 18.
Okay.
And then they can designate two, up to two additional individuals as on the application as authorized contacts to make changes. So that sentence doesn't explicitly state that the two additional authorized individuals also have to be 18. So we could just say, name up to two additional individuals, parentheses, also 18 years or older
Right.
on the application.
Just because I could see, like, if it was, say, an adult with a high school group, and then they designate two 16-year-olds. And I'm sure two 16-year-olds are perfectly responsible. But again, if we're consistent, I think it needs to be 18.
That makes sense. You can add that.
Okay, so that was the only change that I saw there that I felt needed to be amended. So,
Would you say that change the additional individuals to additional adults?
well, yeah, but
Yeah, but it's 18, because then you're gonna get into, well, my daughter's 16 and she's an adult. So
Yeah.
I think we just leave it the same as it's written in the first sentence.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I can add, so though they may name up to two additional, we can change it to adults or individuals, parentheses, also 18 years or older.
That's what I
And
think.
Yeah, I
Good, so
think
that
that
sounds good.
sounds
adding that
reasonable.
brief little parenthetical.
I just thought that made it a little more clear and it wasn't ambiguous, so. Okay, so that was, do we need to have somebody amend the motion or is that something that needs to be brought back next month?
It seems like we wouldn't need to bring it back next month if somebody wants to make a new motion to approve it as amended. I think that would. work.
I move that we approve the updated policy number 370, meeting room as amended in section 6.
Second.
Okay, so motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Warren. Okay, so then I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Warren,
Aye.
trustee Pika,
Aye.
trustee Fishka,
Aye.
trustee DeRocher,
Aye.
trustee Schmidt,
Aye.
trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee Stoll votes aye, so motion carries and the policy, amended policy is approved for the meeting room. So then we have the policy 371 for the study room. If we could have a motion, that's on page 52 of the packet.
I move to approve the updated policy 371, study room as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion was made by trustee Lazan and seconded by trustee Schmidt. So I'll do a roll call vote.
Maybe,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, discussion.
maybe a typo in, item 4, part A, must be 8 years older.
I will turn that over to Jason because I did have that same question.
It must be 8 years old or older.
Yeah.
Right. Or 8 years of age or older.
No.
I thought-
I think he's
questioning
eight.
That'd be 8.
Is it for little?
That would also make them an adult.
Oh, that, no,
No.
I mean, unless you feel that way. So for the youth study rooms, if there's kids that are wanting to reserve the study room to do homework or whatnot, then we're saying that they just, so 8 years old is, if you're younger than 8, that is when you need to be accompanied by an adult to be in the library. But otherwise, if you're 8 or older, then you can be in the library by yourself. And so for the purposes of the youth study rooms, we felt that the 8 years or older needs enough to reserve the study room. Am I getting that correct, Paul? Okay, making sure. So. Whereas the meeting room felt like a much larger sort of
Well,
reservation and responsibility, whereas study rooms is we're coming into the desk, asking or checking in. And you're doing some work, so.
Well, the way I looked at it too is that the difference is between a group versus an individual. And if it's an individual that, again, determining at 8 years of age is responsible enough to be by themselves versus a group where somebody needs to take charge and be
Right.
cognizant of all the other rules in the library.
There could be 4 people in study rooms.
Right, but you know, again,
Let's give you credit for reserving the study.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Until we find out what you're doing.
That's
Well, and that was why one of the things that we added to it was, you know, what was it about? Where did I put that? Something about, the library retains the right to monitor all activity in study rooms, covering of the door and or windows is not permitted. So 5I, but that was a new addition simply
Yeah.
because as Paul had stated previously, people had wanted to cover that up because they wanted more privacy,
oh,
but
there.
we don't want things happening in the study room, so therefore we want to prohibit that.
What things, Jason?
I don't think. we want-
Plagiarism. That's what we don't want.
That would be horrible.
Okay. So then,
Should we call the vote?
yes, so anyway, then, I forgot to write down who seconded.
It was Lazan and Schmidt.
Okay, great.
Oh, good job, Secretary Schmidt. You're so on it.
So, then roll call vote, so then, trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt,
Aye.
trustee Pishka,
Aye.
trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Pika,
Aye.
trustee DeRozier.
Aye.
Okay, and trustee Stella votes aye, so the updated policy for the study room is approved. And so now, I'd say, is there new business? I didn't see anything on the agenda.
Not this one.
Okay, so no new business. So then we're on to the director's report. I will turn that over to the executive director.
So the first thing I wanted to remind everyone is that July is fast approaching and we'll be having the parade again on the 3rd. So we have several staff that are doing the parade. Mary Kelly has graciously offered to drive for SV. So we can house the candy in the buckets and the water for staff and for anybody who's walking. So what we typically do, Erica, is we line up on the lower level parking lot. We close the library at 4 o'clock on the 3rd. And then we decorate the vehicle, get everybody lined up. I think the lineup starts at 5 or 5:30. I think it's 5:30. Down there. And then the parade route goes and we have a vehicle who's, like I just said, houses the candy and the buckets and the water for everybody, but everybody else is walking and passing out the candy. To all people watching the parade in the street. So march through town and we end up on.
We serve.
Yes.
So. And then we usually drop off a couple of vehicles at the end point so that we can get people back here. But it's a lot of fun. And I love the fact that Warrenville does it on the evening of the night before the fourth. That means it's all part of, at least for staff, it's part of our workday then essentially, and nobody has to come in on the holiday, which is what I had to previously do, so. But it's a lot of fun,
Yes.
so I encourage you all to come. Just let me know if you are not, so we know whether to expect you.
I'll carry the banner. That's my job, I didn't carry the banner.
I am not gonna be in town. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna be out of town as well,
I
sorry.
think that saying that. It was so much fun. And have you seen the Warrenville 4th of July parade?
Yes.
Yeah, the community so supports us.
I will most likely be there, might be a few grandkids too.
Oh, so fun.
They're coming up from Nashville.
Will you be in town, Erica?
Yes,
You should come.
I will.
Yeah.
No,
Bring
I
your
was waiting
band.
for somebody to ask me.
You
Bring
do
your
yourself-
band.
I need another shirt. A shirt, I need a shirt. A light gray shirt. Of course, I would love that.
Yes. we have to do an inventory of that. What about you, Rick?
I expect to be there.
Awesome. That's okay, all right. Sounds good.
I may be watching, but.
There. All right, an additional thing that wasn't in my report. I don't know if anybody noticed it as you drove past the front of the building. But COD this year was doing another community art project. So they're doing at the museum, they're doing the Hokusai, and now I forgot the name of the style of art, but an exhibit. So it's medieval Japanese art. And so 2 years ago, they did the Warhol exhibit, and they Warholified famous Warrenville villains. And so this summer.
Years ago?
It was 2 years ago, I don't know, still. So this year they were picking, kind of like cityscapes or landmarks around DuPage. And so they picked the Warrenville Historical Museum.
Oh, fun.
And so they Hokusai'd the museum and put it on a window thing. So this year, I think they were making the window things really, really big. So Sarah Balin asked them to shrink it down a bit. Oh, but so since the museum doesn't get quite as much foot traffic and isn't open as much, she asked if we would house her window plane. And I said, sure. Sounds like a great idea. So
Awesome.
she had to have them shrink it down a little bit and then also ask them to cut it in half so that it could actually fit. So it sounds like there are several other locations that have done a similar thing. But yeah, so it is on this similar placement. It's not right in the center. She had somebody come and install it, so we didn't have to do a thing, but it's at the end. But yeah, it looks really nice. So I recommend going and taking a look.
I was at city council meeting on Monday night, and Andy made mention of it
Okay.
and announced it to the village at the city council meeting. So that was kind of nice. So it gets more variety.
It was nice, and so similar to the Warhol exhibit, all around DuPage, you can go to different communities and find their art. Last weekend was Daisy Days in Clarendon Hills. I went straight from here to work to go work for my wife at her table. But at their train station, they had their window thing, which was much bigger than this one, and it just had kind of a scene of downtown Clarendon Hills. And so that was really pretty too. So yeah, it's nice. I love the idea of driving around DuPage to find them.
Yeah.
I probably will not do that, but
Is there a list somewhere about this?
there is, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'd like to see the link too.
There's just the link on COD's website, but somebody had sent me, I found a link. Can't remember what the name of the website was, but they did a write-up. So they showed all of the art or named each community and then had just a little description about the art piece. So that was really nice. So I'll forward that to you.
That would be.
The only other thing to point out there is our safety related things, but I'm bought an AED device, so need to get that.
I'm so happy
Set
to
up.
hear that.
And first I read the financials and then I went in, and you did do that, we didn't have
We
a
did.
deficit.
Does that include training?
It does, so I think they've got, included in the price that we paid is just basic training about the AED, it does not include any CPR or first aid training.
But it
So
shows
I
that-
figured I would have them do that for us and see if that was a good start, but we had previously, the safety committee talked about doing AED and CPR training, which typically tends to go together. But then that would cost an additional cost, so I wanted to see what this included, AED training was like first, before we go paying for extra training, but one or another, I believe included is I think somebody will come and set it up, if not, this should be easy enough for us to heavily install. And then there's an online tracking software, so we have access to it for a year after, I think after the initial year, I think it's like $25 a year access, but it helps track our device. And track, the supplies and when things are, the pads are expiring and whatnot.
Does the fire department provide CPR training, I thought?
I reached out at one point and didn't hear back. I probably need to reach out again.
Did you check with, I guess it's Endeavor or Northwestern hospitals? I thought they did CPR training.
Okay,
I don't know if they still do, but at one point they.
the company that I ordered the AED from does it as
Oh,
well, so, but
well, the hospital maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying,
which hospital?
Edwards. Edwards, it's not
or Central
Endeavor,
Bridge, yeah.
and then Northwestern. I know Northwestern did it at one time.
And I know that like at the county, the sheriff's office provided it for employees at the county, so I don't know if, whether or not they would do it for the library.
Listen to the name.
The Red Cross and some others have mannequins for practice for CPR.
Okay.
Maybe life preservers floats down the river.
Get the phone.
One thing was talked about that they're providing wall signs for indicating that there's a, I was wondering if that would be appropriate to have one over at the bike area to say that there's AEDs at the.
Oh, well, that might. Supposed to be. Could try to do that, and I'm assuming that would be making a sign of our own. I think the sign that is just, your typical sort of, just the.
Right, just to kind of
And comes out
2 or 3 inch.
AED.
Yeah.
So that right over it, so you know where it's located in the building, but.
I think that would be where, before we post a sign and tell them they are checking at the city. Before we, I assume you're talking about over here.
Right,
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to the city before I posted that sign,
So that's county property.
or whoever.
And
because-
yeah, and hear what you're saying, and the Illinois Prairie Path manages the trailheads. And they, have done signs for other groups. They are considering doing a sign for a project I'm working on. That, because it's supporting the trail users that they pay for it and they do it. So if it's something that's gonna possibly benefit their trail users, and I can get you the contact, if you decide to go this route, the contact for the chair people of the Illinois Prairie Path Association. But, and then they probably would check with the county. It's a
Yes.
volunteer group who checks the county, it's the Department of Transportation that owns the property.
And of course, my mind was going more to if there's any legal.
And I
Yeah.
think the lawyer should be,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was what I was.
You have to worry about all those.
Well, and the thing is too, is that in terms of maintenance, again, so that it's not in the way of, whether somebody's mowing or doing, snow shoveling or whatever, blowing that, maybe you think somebody knocks the sign over and then doesn't get put back.
Oh, I thought you meant like at the trail, at the building.
whatever the little area is where
With
they
the
can
washroom?
put
With
the
the washroom?
washrooms and exit area.
Yeah, maybe it could be part of the, who knows, yeah.
It'd be, I thought, useful, and then it also pointed out the fact that we're here to serve people in a variety.
You'd have to list the hours of operation like that one too,
Sure.
because it couldn't be just say,
Yeah, yeah, during library hours.
The other safety related thing is consider the Illinois House Bill 1910. They it's on Pritzker's desk to sign, but it passed both the houses, but it would essentially require public libraries to have on-site opioid medication. And somebody trained in using it at all times during operation. Which
It's about
is,
time.
what was that?
It's about time.
Rick has been advocating that for many years now.
So thank you.
Yeah, well, sure, I had, but so we're
Well,
gonna.
it's Governor Pritzker, you can write a letter.
thank you, JB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have some that was donated to us, I believe, last year. It does expire, so at a certain point, we'll need to find somewhere else to get it, but I think they're, at least currently, they're of new federal things will affect anything, but there's, seem to be plenty of organizations that are happy to provide it for free. And I think give training for free. As far as I understand, I think the training is fairly simple. So,
It-
So, yeah. what was that?
The unit talks to you, tell you where you put everything.
No, we're talking about the opioid.
Oh, the opioid.
Police probably know where you can get it because they have to have it in the spot.
Is this something like administering an EpiPen? Do you even know?
I think it's similar. I think it might go up a nostril.
It's a nasal spray and
Oh.
it's, the beauty of it is if somebody is not having a reaction to an opioid, it doesn't harm them in any way.
So
But if they are, it's bang, and they wake up. So,
good to know.
So I think the training is identifying who needs it and then the proper administration of it. I
Okay,
don't know how much more there is beyond that, but
okay.
so I will work on that as well. So. Those were my,
So then
Biggest
going
update
on
for the month.
to the department head reports, again, I'd like to thank all the department heads, especially for the thoroughness of it and keeping us all updated on what's going on. And, anybody have any comments or questions for the department heads?
Well, congratulations again on FanCon.
Yeah,
That was
great report there,
Great.
Paul.
And it is very impressive, the amount of outreach that your team is doing and to the sources, some of those are new. So I think that's great. Please keep up the good work. And I do just want to call your attention, folks. The self-checkout is now at 55%. And Mary Kelly, can you tell Gail that I really enjoyed her little epistle? It was cute. I like the last part of it best. Have a patience with repair turnaround. And I could just see her face and back on the face. So, thank you.
I have to say, I was really impressed with the head count, having worked half the day at FanCon. I would not have said we had that kind of participation. But when you counted it all up, it was impressive. And I'm just really, really, really impressed. So good job, team. Excellent work.
Yeah, it was an event I enjoyed working at too, and the energy from everybody it was phenomenal and the enthusiasm. I do look forward to it being an annual thing if at all possible, so.
They were working.
and it was nice hearing from some of the
Yeah.
vendors, the cosplayers that came to say, oh, this was really well organized. So kudos to Paul and his team for having a great committee and organization for it. And as usual, to Kathy for promoting.
Thank you.
Also, I can say that I've been very busy putting my hours into the summer reading program app, which is completely escaping me. Have you seen that? Not a lot.
Beans back.
Deanstack.
Beanstack,
Oh,
yeah. I've been very busy putting my little hours in there.
I think you're ready to reschedule the concert, by the way.
July
I
2nd,
thought that was great.
July 2nd.
That's what I said,
Yeah.
good thing.
I'm hoping we don't get bothered by any more storms.
Hey, you just shoot it in and it's gonna happen.
Or that we have enough other dates that we can come and reschedule, if that happens. Okay, so then, any other comments on the department head reports? So then I guess it's me. So the next meeting is gonna be July 16th at 7 o'clock, and then Wednesday, August 20th at 7 o'clock. So everything's pretty, and then we do have a budget appropriation hearing in September. So at the beginning of the regular board meeting. And I would just like to say, I saw the Facebook post, and I would like to congratulate Jackie on her 25 years of service to the library. Was it?
It's not
25 though.
Oh, was it?
It'll be 30.
You're 30. Okay, 30. Okay.
have no idea.
It had a picture of a sloth. You were with a sloth.
That might have been something that appeared again. That was from like 2 or 4.
Robin.
Okay, I don't know. It just popped up on my
Maybe
feed this
5
afternoon.
summers ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it was 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memory.
It's, oh, okay, July
Yeah.
1st, 2020. So this month, so that's why I
Well, there you
didn't
go,
see the
Jay.
date.
I didn't even know it was on Facebook.
No, I saw your picture with the sloth. That's why it popped up on my feed this afternoon. So I,
It's a good thing Facebook is giving you timely announcements.
yeah.
Working on a bit long.
Well, Jackie, if it's 30, I'm just like, wahoo!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
July.
That's really awesome. Thank you.
More.
Yes.
Okay, well, a heads up, then I'll congratulate you next.
Okay.
meeting.
Just Jason, I will not be at the July meeting.
Okay.
So you know ahead of time.
Okay, so is anybody else not gonna be at the July meeting?
My life is very much in flux right now, but if I may have to do the remote thing. Haven't,
Oh, I don't think I can do it.
I have, many weird situations going on with my sister and my mother. So
Keep you on the phone.
I may be in St. Louis in a hospital, or,
Wisconsin.
or I may be in Wisconsin with my mother, so. Anyway, lots happening.
So then on to the treasurer's report.
Everything looks good.
I thought you might want to make mention of a couple of things on page 71.
Well, thank you. Uh, Okay. Sorry, you know, I read my whole entire packet and I stopped at the president's report. Cause I forgot there was treasurer. Although I did this afternoon, because I came in to sign the checks and Jackie wasn't here. So I'm like, okay, I'll sign it. All right. Well, we have not received our financial official statement. The amount of money that transferred back from our maturing investment was $759,123.08. Wow,
I like that.
so we've earned over $9,000. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
For taking that
really,
initiative.
That was a good call.
Truly. Thank you for doing that. And we made $941 in interest at Illinois funds in just May alone. Wow. Woohoo.
Yeah. We changed some of our
where
Hey,
the
us.
accounts that the money was at, because it was just in there, so now it's running the rate stuff, so it was.
So we were previously earning like
Jason's research.
1% interest at the bank. And my wife had at a different bank, but she was earning much higher interest rates, so. Jackie and I stopped by the bank and asked, and so they increased it to like 1.98% or 89, something like
It was
that.
ridiculous.
Which was almost double what we were earning, but still seemed not enough. So in the meantime, we asked about CDs, and we had opened their brokerage account, in addition to their bank account. But they had some CDs that were earning over 4%. So we did that in the meantime. And then there's a lot of libraries that belong to Illinois Funds, which is an investment group that essentially only does governmental public funds investing. And so they have very strict guidelines. So the low, they know we all have the, low risk and et cetera. So we moved some money then at the time, $250,000 to Illinois Funds, and opened up an account. And so when the CDs matured, last month we voted to move that money to Illinois Funds. So now we should have over $1 million at Illinois Funds. But they have a daily interest rate that they post. You don't get the interest until the end of the month, but they have been over 4% as well. So and their interest rate was just a little bit higher than the CDs that we had. So it should be good. So now that we have over $1 million all in one place, earning the over 4%, hopefully it'll be fun to report the numbers.
I'll be sure to be much more. Honest.
We expect you to call every Wednesday.
Okay, so then, Madam Secretary, a report from you.
Nothing new, an honor to administer the oath for Erica and.
Welcome, welcome.
And I now know how to work the remote, so we're all
Good.
Any committee reports? I don't think there's anything due right now. So then, we're on to trustee comments, so
I'd
any.
just like to welcome Erica.
Thank you. Welcome, Mary.
Please don't be shy about asking questions, because that'll make it easier for you.
Oh, no worries.
And you can see we already asked questions.
Yeah.
No, today was just the observing day, getting ready for July. Because I do ask a lot of questions.
It keeps us on our toes.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if it should be mentioned during the reports before or now, but congratulations, the flowers outside look great. We decorated those still potted plants and they're noticeable and they add color. It's nice to have a little pop
It is.
on both
Hey,
entrances. So
just think we
thank
can
you.
get that award from Dorothy Doos.
Warrenville and Bloom.
Yes.
Herb appeal
Last
award?
Herb appeal,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna have to do a little more than have a couple of pots today.
Wow.
There is some stiff competition, let me tell you.
Sometimes just call. That's.
Oh.
Depending on what group you're in.
Well, we do let them meet here, don't we?
If we call Vivian Lund.
Emily
Emily
is actually in charge of that one. Emily.
Not giving them.
Any other further items for information and or discussion? Oh,
No, but we have to tell Erica what her job is.
Oh, your job, Eric. You're the new trustee. Your
Look at
job
number
is to
20.
say the last motion of the
We have to
evening.
make a motion.
Oh, okay. I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
that would be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:43 PM.